Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Name the dog, Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my recasted friend Frank. How are you today?
Hello. I'm normally played by Frank Ramblings, but today I'm here being portrayed by
Frank Babblings.
John Hamm.
Okay. I can work with that. Okay.
Who would you cast to play yourself in a movie, Tim? Who would you cast as the protagonist in your life story?
God, if you're just going with John Hamm right out the bat, like
that was the first. Who's handsome? Who do I want to pretend that I think I look like?
Michael Fassbender. Like I
That's
don't know.
You don't really. I mean, he's a very handsome guy, and you're a very handsome guy, but I wouldn't say I see a resemblance.
There's literally no resemblance between us.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's good for you. You like it.
It's good for you. You'll like it. Good. Okay.
What are you doing these days in terms of beer?
Today, in terms of beer, I will tell you, I am drinking a beer called Maya May from the Ashore Beer Company. It is a delightful IPA. It's brewed all over the place. It started in Maine, and then it went to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and I think there's something going on the Cape too. It is really good. It's kind of citrusy. It's quite good.
And what's it called? Wash Ashore is the brewery. What's the actual name?
Wash Ashore Beer Company is the brewery, and it's called Maya May, Mayamae.
Huh. I've never heard of this, but that looks really good.
It's really good. It's an India Pale Ale. It is really good.
Maya May IPA, huh? Mm-hmm. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out. I've never even heard of it. And it's local. It's local to Mass, you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, It's really it's not a strong IPA, so it almost it's the citrus quality kind of outweighs a lot of the hops, and so it won't feel overly heavy. And the cans are big, like really big. So
yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, so you'll enjoy it. I assure
I'm
you.
gonna see if I can find that, and I'll try it when I do. I, on the other hand, am drinking a New Holland Brewing Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
It's really good. It's really, really good. We had some people over to the house on Friday, and they brought a 4-pack of this, and I've been savoring them because they're really, really good. But yeah, I love stouts. I love bourbon. So I love pretty much anything that's aged in a bourbon barrel or any kind of whiskey barrel. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so New Holland Dragon's Milk.
Cool.
Really good. Highly recommend it if you like stouts or bourbon or both.
Very cool. Very cool. So Frank, I had said to you that you've been recasted, which is obviously not true because we're talking right now. But I was thinking earlier today, back and see if you follow me down this weird rabbit hole. A man who has only had one major film under his belt walks into an executive's office. This man is wearing flannel and jeans because that's all he wears. He plops down a script on a desk, and says, "This is my new movie. It's called Star Wars. It's never been made before. The Star Wars. Never been made before. And it's going to revolutionize film in the year 2018. Who do you cast in Star Wars? The Star Wars." So this exercise, if Star Wars had never been made, who would you cast today in the principal cast? Members being Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin, and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This was a very interesting exercise for me. It took me quite a bit of time to come to a final list that I was satisfied with.
I agree, and myself as well. I had a hard time kind of pinning. I had a hard time pinning some things down.
Well, I say we go one character at a time and we kind of alternate, like we did with our Desert Island picks. I'm not going to even try and guess. Let's not do guessing because that'll just take us forever. But why don't, it was your idea. Why don't you start and why don't you tell me who your Luke Skywalker pick was, and then I'll tell you mine.
Okay, my Luke Skywalker is Tom Holland.
That was on my list. I for a couple of them, I'm like, he might pick this, so I have alternates.
That's
so
it.
That was
Tom Holland was not on my original list. What actually really started this exercise was, that what do you call picture that goes around where it's like, this is Mark Hamill, and right next to him is a picture of Sebastian Stan, and it looks exactly like Mark Hamill.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, what if Sebastian Stan played Luke Skywalker? What an easy thing this would be. And then I was like, wait, Sebastian Stan is 35 years old. Like, I can't choose him to play this 18-year-old. Like, I can't choose like 18-year-old, 20-year-old. Like, I'm just going to pick up some power converters. So I had to kind of think, all right, who is young and could grow into this part? And for a long time on that list, I had Ty Sheridan, he's going to be in Ready Player One. He played Cyclops in X-Men Apocalypse. He's a really good actor, but I just couldn't. There's just something about him that I just couldn't get there. It wasn't working for me. So I landed on Tom Holland.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, he's a little short for a stormtrooper, and I think that works for him.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So what's yours?
Sebastian Stan.
No. What did I just say?
Age limits be damned, man. You really have too many rules.
Yeah.
No, so the first thing that came to my mind was, yes, that resemblance, that meme that went around showing that resemblance. But really, as I thought about it, I see a lot of potential for maybe I'm really seeing more of like Return of the Jedi Luke in him.
Definitely,
a little more subdued, and less of the power converters whiny stuff. So I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that side of him. So granted, we're talking about A New Hope specifically, but in terms of this character, I think he's a good enough actor he could stretch. And the age limit thing, if we start niggling with that, then everybody's going to be wrong for some reason or another.
Look, that is the thing that literally held me up doing this for so long, going, no, they're too old. They'd be so good if they weren't 40, like. Yeah,
that one is like, I don't know. That if we're talking about like who's going to play Obi-Wan and I picked a 25-year-old, that'd be a problem. But I feel like, he's 30, 35, whatever. We can, the effects make him look younger.
No, all right. Well, you know what? But I think he actually would be really good. Sebastian Stan is an excellent actor, so I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think he would be great, even if it was the mid-2000s we were doing this. And
let's be honest, if Lucas were doing this today, he'd still pick unknowns. So,
definitely,
definitely, he'd find some young Tom Holland like kid, who was yet to be discovered.
That's right.
I wanted to tell you that I was going to pick Miles Teller, but you know that every time I see him, I want to punch him. So
me
that
too.
Just wasn't
no, I know you wouldn't pick him. You're better than that.
Thank you for having faith in me.
You're way better than that. No, I would. Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it. Never pick
Don't
Miles
do it.
Teller. Is your Han Solo Miles Teller?
How funny would that be?
Yeah. All right. You want to do Han Solo next?
Sure.
Okay.
Han Solo.
All right. My Han Solo is Joel Edgerton.
Ooh, I didn't think of him. That's good.
He was my first go-to. Joel Edgerton is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood.
I agree.
And I know we talked about before we did this, like whether we can pick people who had already been in Star Wars or not. But since this is the Star Wars has never existed, we can do whatever we want. So
Sure,
I know,
yeah.
I know Joel Edgerton played Uncle Owen in
but like that's
Attack of
barely.
the,
I mean,
like he has like 5 lines as
it's such
as a
minor
young
role.
Owen Lars. So it's not. I think, but he would be a terrific Han Solo.
yes,
So good.
having seen him now, like all these years later, where I think he's not been nominated for an Oscar, has he?
No.
I think he will be.
One will definitely come his way.
Yeah, I think so. He's certainly deserving of it. He's a fantastic actor. Yeah, that's a great pick. That's a really great pick, and I can see him in that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't you just see him with like the scruff and the vest and the denim with the red stripe, and
Totally.
he's totally got it. He would be an amazing Han Solo.
Yeah, I agree.
If they
Great choice.
if they did like a movie right after Return of the Jedi, you know what I mean? Like with this is what happens immediately after Return of the Jedi.
Sure, yeah.
Joel Edgerton is Han Solo and Sebastian Stan is Luke Skywalker. Like
Solid.
so
solid.
You could totally. That would be so good. All right.
So good.
Anyway, your
And
Han.
see, this is why you can't be too picky about age, because like even in that example you just gave, like they're too close in age for them to be Luke and Han. So like
Yeah,
the
that's
age
true.
can't matter that much.
Luke is actually the only one where I was like, age kind of maybe matters. He was the only one that, for whatever reason, just stuck.
Because it's so, you're saying it's so integral to his character that it needs to be a younger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. Your pick.
My Han Solo, I'm going with Chris Pine.
I thought you would.
Really?
I actually thought that you would. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why?
Oh.
Why did you think?
I heard Chris Pratt, and now it just clicked in my head that you said Chris Pine.
I thought that's what happened. Chris Pine.
When I was doing this in my head on like in my car on the drive, Chris Pine was one of the guys that floated through my head.
You know what made me think of it was we did an episode a while back about what if Indiana Jones was the captain of the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Great episode.
And so flipping that around is kind of what made me think of Chris Pine. And really, the way I could see Chris Pine playing that role, I mean, he was Steve Trevor, which is a sort of a similar archetype.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to fit. He is sort of today's like young action, not super young anymore, but young action hero with an edge and with a little bit of wit.
Sure.
He very much fits that bill, and that's kind of, he's been, I hesitate to say typecast, but sort of typecast as that. So
I've seen him in a lot of things where he is not like that at all.
Not fully typecast, but he's been put in that role several times.
Yes,
right.
I think he does that role when he needs money.
Sure. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
He does a lot of the side projects that don't pay a lot, where he really stretches and proves himself as an actor. And when he needs to pay the bills, he takes all right, I'm cool and sassy and smart.
Yeah, true. But he does it so well. He does it so well,
and he is so good at it. Mm-hmm.
So charming, so good at it. So like for all those reasons, I would cast Chris Pine as my Han Solo.
That's great. Okay, very, very good. Are you ready for Princess Leia?
I am.
Princess Leia shall be played by Alicia Vikander.
Ooh. I know who she is, but I don't think I've seen her in
Danish
anything?
girl.
I did see Danish girl.
She's Tomb Raider. She's Lara Croft. Yeah. Tomb Raider. She is married to Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, I know who she is. I just don't
I
think I've seen. I didn't think I'd seen her in her movies, but I guess I did see the Danish Girl. So
It was a good movie too.
it's a good movie.
Alicia Vikander. Yeah. Ex. Oh yeah, you've seen Ex Machina. Yeah. Right.
Actually, no.
You've not. Oh, Frank.
Yeah,
this
I know.
movie's right up your alley. How have you
I
not
know
seen
it is. I know it is. It was on my radar. In fact, I have it on my. I have it. In my library, but I haven't sat down to watch it. It's one that I didn't sit down to watch.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good. Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, Alicia Vikander, and that's it.
I know.
That's like the whole cast. Movie's great. Mm-hmm. Movie is really strong. I think Alicia Vikander is an Oscar-winning actress. Did she win for The Danish Girl? I'm asking you.
She was nominated.
Yes.
I don't think she won.
Oscar winner for Best Performance by an Actress, The Danish Girl.
How do I not remember that at all?
She is tremendously talented, and she is a tiny little thing that exudes so much power. I think she would be a perfect Leia, and I can see her and Joel Edgerton together, if that makes sense. I was kind of like, people like, what does everybody look like, kind of thing. And I kind of like her accent, and I was kind of like, well, that would be, maybe that's the accent of Alderaan. I don't know, like something something fun like that. I don't know. So
that's a good headcanon. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I went a very different direction for my Princess Leia.
Oprah.
Yeah.
I would watch it.
That's
I
it.
think
No.
she'd be
No.
good.
I mean, yeah,
you get a planet, and you get a planet. Everybody gets a planet, except for me, because it blew up.
Aw, womp womp. No, I picked Jessica Chastain.
Oh, I wanted to put her on my Star Wars list so bad because I love Jessica Chastain. She's tremendously talented. You really cast Return of the Jedi, didn't you?
I guess I kind of did. Yeah.
You like secretly like New Hope, Frank. They're
without realizing it. Without realizing it, yeah, I kind of did. Well, here's why. So I guess what I did was I thought of each character and I said, like, I distilled them down. This sounds so pretentious, but I kind of boiled them down to a couple of characteristics and then thought, what actors have those characteristics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are very good at those. I think that Leia is really good at being, like, one of the things that she symbolized was not just like she's the princess or she's like the damsel in distress. She was like very tough and able to take care of herself. And so Jessica Chastain came to my mind because she hasn't done necessarily a super ton of action movies or, movies where she had to be like fighting or whatever, but she projects that sort of feminist confidence that I think Leia has come to embody and come to symbolize. And again, fast forwarding it from 1977 to 2018, that would be a little bit more pronounced today than it was in 77, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, it makes sense that someone of her ability to project those kinds of characteristics, that she would be a good pick for this.
That's cool.
So,
okay, yeah,
that's my pick. That's my Leia.
That's a good. I think she would be so good. She'd be phenomenal.
Yeah.
What an interesting choice. Okay.
Thank you.
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
I don't know if everybody's going to know who this is, but my pick is Richard Armitage.
Dick Armitage. Yeah, wait. I know that name and I need to Google his face.
Richard, I mean, this isn't going to mean anything necessarily to you, but Richard Armitage played Thorin Oakenshield in The Hobbit.
I thought Thor Odinson was from the Marvel universe.
Thorin
joke
Oakenshield. Also, Thor is from Norse mythology, Frank. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I do not know this man. I know the name, but I do not recognize his face, nor have I seen any of the things on his credits here. So
that's okay. I would, if you get a second, just like go in. Actually, that's not true. You've seen Captain America: The First Avenger. Actually, he plays the German spy that kills Stanley Tucci.
Okay. All right.
That is maybe not indicative of what he really sounds like, or
sure,
but he played you probably haven't also seen this, but he did he played John Proctor on stage on the London stage.
I'm seeing this right now. Yes.
He is so talented, and I went with this. I was going for voice first, like the classic. It's James Earl Jones and it's somebody else in the body.
Right.
But Richard Armitage is also a tall man. And so I thought that between the voice and his own imposing figure, that he would fill out the whole part. Like he could wear the suit and it'd be okay.
I see.
I do have another. Can we do a honorable mention at the bottom of this? Because I have one that I just thought of right now now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have placed instead of Richard Armitage, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just say it. I'll say it now. It'll be easier. Lee Pace. Do you know who Lee Pace is? Mm-mm. He played Ronan the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 6'5", and he's a massive presence, and his voice is barreling and booming, and he would also be really good. Both actually, he was in The Hobbit too. Now that I think about it, but there you go. That's my Darth Vader. I think that you could see his through line through the rest of Star Wars, and I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to choose him. And you could kind of see him being the father of Tom Holland, I guess. So
totally.
All right. So your next one, Maestro, Darth Vader.
I really wish Michael Clark Duncan was still alive. But
meh.
Yeah. Well, I went for who and I was thinking about the voice, honestly.
Okay.
I was thinking a lot.
Do you like the new
about
season?
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson's awesome. I was thinking about who has the voice to support this character. And even as I say it right now, I'm between yeah. Well, here I'll tell you my train of thought. So I thought, who has done anything like the Darth Vader voice that we've heard, in recent years, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And when I posed the question to myself that way, there was only one answer.
Oh, James Earl Jones.
No. It's more like, perhaps he's wondering why he would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Doing a voice, because he'd be a really short Darth Vader.
Because he had yeah. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have the physique for it. But I was thinking more about the voice because all due respect to David Prowse, but really the iconic aspect of Darth Vader, aside from the costume,
is the voice. I agree.
Voice. And that's that's the aspect of the performance that we've all latched onto.
I 100% agree. I actually almost chose Tom Hardy was my first Han Solo.
That's a good pick too. That's a good pick.
He was my first Han Solo. But I think he would do a really cool job, and it would be this interesting character. It wouldn't just be like, I'm evil. I think even from the beginning it would be layered with something. I wanted to step away from the body double aspect of it.
I did too. At first, I was like, who has it all in one package? And I had some thoughts. I had some people, but I centered on Tom Holland because, again, if I'm going with in a universe where Chris Pine is Han Solo and we're going for sort of the younger, shinier, this seemed like a better fit than some of the other options that I had in mind.
I love it. I almost put Liam Neeson as Darth Vader.
Oh, interesting.
Because he's got the voice, he's got the stature, and there's gravitas. But sure. I wanted to avoid. You've been in Star Wars before, apart from Joel Edgerton, which barely counts.
Barely counts.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. That's cool. Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin, Bill Nighy.
Ooh, that's interesting. I like that.
Bill Nighy, for those of you who don't know, he plays
the science guy.
He's not the science guy. He plays Billy Mack in Love Actually. He's Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's Rufus Scrimgeour in Harry Potter. He's Tim's dad in the movie About Time. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but he would be. I think he'd be a tremendously good Grand Moff Tarkin. And in my mind, he kind of looks like Peter Cushing, which is maybe where I made that association in the first place.
He's got like the cheekbones, and sort of the long, drawn face.
He's got that tall, lanky British soldier vibe.
Yes.
And so
yes.
I think that he would be a really ruthless, if given the chance, Grand Moff Tarkin.
Good pick. Very good pick. Has he played evil?
Yeah, I have seen him play evil before, and then I forgot all of what those evil things.
In Pirates, was he a good guy or a bad guy?
Well, he was a bad guy. He's Davy Jones, so that would be
right.
That's
I didn't
evil.
See that one.
He plays evil in something else, but now I can't remember.
Because he's so lovable in the things that he does. I think of Love Actually. I think of About Time.
What? He's the bad guy in the Underworld films.
Oh, I've seen bits and pieces of those, but never actually seen I don't think I've seen one the whole way through. Those are the Kate Beckinsale ones, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I've seen. I had a friend who was into those, but I never. When I was in high school.
Okay,
but I never got into them myself.
He would be cool. I almost didn't put him because Tarkin's only in one film. Spoiler. So two if you count Rogue One.
Two, yeah.
So I was hesitant to almost waste him that way, but
sure.
He'd be great. Your pick.
I went in a little bit of a different direction. Again, I was thinking okay, who's really good at being evil? Who, and so I didn't go with someone maybe as interesting or as off the beaten path for a villain, but I went with Donald Sutherland.
Oh, he would be really good.
I think of him, saying charming to the last. Maybe not as much of a British accent as Peter Cushing, but things like that. That sort of
President Snow vibe.
Yeah.
Games.
Well, yeah, because they are sort of similar in their I'm in power and you have to do whatever I say. I hold your life in my hands, and I'm going to be very
evil,
cagey about yeah. So yeah, that would be my pick for Tarkin. And he is actually age appropriate.
He is age appropriate. So is Bill Nighy, I think.
So is Bill Nighy. Yes, they both are.
That is age appropriate. That's a good choice. I like that.
I think he's a phenomenal actor. I mean, they both are. But.
You know who'd be really good in that role too? Ralph Fiennes.
An older Ralph Fiennes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he'd be a younger Tarkin if you'd used him now, but he'd still be really good.
Sure.
Okay. Last one for Star Wars: A New Hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi. My pick, Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, nice. Okay, I like that. That's good. Good.
Viggo's got a whimsy, but a power to him. Even though he's not a big man, you'd feel the force on him if he played it correctly, and right. I think he would. Kind of like in the way that Alec Guinness was so passive in his portrayal of Obi-Wan. He was so calm and centered and zen. I think that Viggo could do that and exude a kind of almost danger off of him at the same time.
For sure.
Even though he's calm and zen, do not mess with him.
No, you don't want to mess with him, but yeah, no, that's solid. That is solid casting. I like that very much.
Yeah, he'd be a younger Obi-Wan.
Younger than Alec Guinness, but still I would call it in the ballpark. Still age appropriate enough.
Well, one of the reasons that he's almost 60, he's 59. So
Alec Guinness was like in his mid 60s, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
close.
But one of the reasons that I wanted to do somebody even under 60 is because I want a real fight between Vader and Obi-Wan. And I think Viggo Mortensen could really sell that.
Fair. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would be a good fight scene.
Yeah,
that would be a good
fight scene. And Richard Armitage is in his mid 40s, like 45, 46. So this about 15 years between them. And so when Obi-Wan's 30, Anakin's 15, there's not that far of an age gap between them where it feels like they could be friends.
I mean, when he's in costume as Darth Vader, what's the difference really anyway, though?
That's true, but when he takes off the helmet and you're like, oh my God, you're older than Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, so who's your Obi-Wan Kenobi?
My Obi-Wan, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. What a power. He would be so good. He would be so good.
I think he would be mentor, right? That's kind of what I went with was like the old wizard mentor was what I was looking for. I think there's obviously we've seen Morgan Freeman play a mentor type in plenty of films. But I think that his mischief side, which he gets to show sometimes, would be a fun addition. No, he's wise, but still, there's still a little bit of young Obi-Wan in there,
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I think it's something that he definitely brings. And when he's wise, you just want to sit there, and sip your blue milk and listen to him tell you all the wisdom. But he can also, I think, handle himself in the cantina and negotiate with Han Solo on what they're going to pay and all that kind of stuff. He has the credibility, I think, across those different aspects of Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. He would be cool. He would be cool. Now, we didn't say Chewbacca, but I think we should mention him at least and say that we both agreed that we don't know anybody that tall. So that would be up to real people to decide things like that.
That's right.
And characters like R2-D2 and C-3PO are hard to, well, R2 especially, but C-3PO is hard to separate from Anthony Daniels.
Yeah.
So I had a hard. Do you remember who? Because you did come up with one, but I couldn't. So do you remember who yours was?
Shoot. Oh yes. Paul Bettany.
Oh yeah, he'd be good. Mm-hmm. I can see
that was more of a like. That was sort of like a first draft that I just wrote down and was planning to replace.
Jarvis. He would be
Jarvis.
C-3PO.
He's basically the C-3PO of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah,
that's Vision. So yeah, that was that. Paul Bettany was my choice there.
That's cool.
If we had stuck and kept him in the running in the draft, so to speak, I would have probably would have replaced him with somebody else. But that was my first reaction. I had a lot of my first picks I replaced because a lot of them were from the Marvel Universe, and I started Sebastian Stan, and then I had Scarlett Johansson as Leia and a few others.
I don't like that at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a few others in here too, and I ended up changing a lot of them. But partway through, I was like, I mean, it's not my fault that Marvel's snatching up everybody. Like, half of Hollywood's been in Marvel movies at this point.
That's true. I tried so hard to fit Chris Evans in, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Chris Evans, I thought about for Luke for a second because of that earnestness.
I did too. Mm-hmm.
But
it didn't. Nope. Didn't work.
Right.
It just didn't feel right.
I
agree. Now, Frank, we ended on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so a peek behind the curtain. We also have a list for Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
We do.
But we're at our time limit.
Yeah,
Frank.
we're out of time. So this will have to pick this up another time.
Let's pick it up another time.
That's right. But you know what, Tim? By my count, this was episode 199 of Beer with Geeks.
199.
And that can only mean one thing.
That we're going to talk about all things 200 next episode.
200 next week. So
does that mean when we get to episode 300, we have to do an episode on 300?
That's. I hope we either remember that or think of it again and think it was a new idea, or that someone like reminds us, sends us an email and is like, "Hey, it's been 299 episodes. What are you doing next week? Better be 300." Fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
Well,
so we'll be back next week with episode 200.
That's cool. And we will be indeed. You can find us in the meantime on beerwithgeeks.com and Facebook and Gmail and Twitter at beerwithgeeks. You can check out all Thought Bubble audio shows at thoughtbubbleaudio.com. And you can also head over to patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to support all of our shows. That is it from me. And that's going to be also it from Frank.
Yes, it is.
Until next time,
Cheers.